talking about, salvation in Islam and how it's based on what Allah has preordained and predetermined for you.
Mm.
It's not of your free will. What are your thoughts on that?
Oh, okay. Sorry, I wasn't aware of the topic. I sort of just joined because I wanted to have a chat. But
Are you a convert to Islam?
no. I've been a Muslim since I was born. So born and raised a Muslim, went to the mosque, when I was sort of like between the ages of 8 to 16. I started questioning Islam when I was probably in my early 20s. I'm in my early 30s now. And what I've noticed is, and this is, I've been watching you for quite some time. I don't know what it was. I think there was a period of time when you wasn't online as much, but I remember like your old
Jesus or Muhammad days with David Wood.
Jesus or Muhammad, yeah, that's the one. I think it was you, David Wood, and there was another guy. I can't remember his name.
It was me.
Joseph Al-Hariri.
Yeah.
Praise the war!
Yeah, that guy. So I think, because I want to ask you guys a question.
Sure.
Because like what I've realized is watching these videos. So I watch, for example, Hamza's Den, or watch like, the Muslim channels, let's say, and it would say something like, Muslim destroys Christian, blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And then I watch the Christian channel and it just says the same thing in reverse. And it will be the same video as well. And it's like,
top dollar scholar crushed by...
Yeah, and it's like, I get that it's clickbait because, you want to watch it. You're like, oh my God, so who got destroyed? And then you watch the same video, because I watched yours, God Logic. I've seen one video that you posted up that literally had the same thing, but in reverse. And you get the comment section of the Christians going, oh yeah, this person got destroyed, and Muslim got destroyed, and the other side as well. So I think as human beings, like if we feel passionate about something, for example, if I'm passionate about a certain football team, then no matter what, like even if that football team loses, I'm going to make up some sort of excuse to show that actually we played a better game than them, but they just got lucky, for example. And so one of the questions I have for you guys, because I want to take it a step back, I feel like with these debates, we don't get anywhere, because
I agree.
I'm destroying, like I can pick up a verse from the Bible or the Old Testament or the New Testament and go, look what it says, and go, oh, look, this is how bad the God of the Bible is. And then you can do the same thing, but we're not being productive. I feel like we're just insulting each other. And then it just ends up being an argument like the streams that you had on before. I mean, I only joined like 15 minutes ago, so I don't know what happened before that, but the recent one. So I just had a quick question for you guys. Why do you believe in God? Like, what's the reason why you believe in God? Is it because of the Bible, or are you using some other sort of reasoning to come to the conclusion that a God exists?
You asking me?
Whoever.
Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Okay. So would you say that if the Bible didn't exist, you'd still believe in God, or you wouldn't believe in God?
I mean, yes, I would believe there's a God, but I wouldn't know who he is. But you're asking me, why do I believe in God? Well, I believe in the God of the Bible, God revealed in Jesus, because of Jesus Christ.
Okay. And like, for example, like if you look at the world today, like there's people dying, and you get people with diseases, you get kids being tortured and all of that stuff. If God, and I'm assuming you believe that God is loving, why would God allow this to happen?
Yeah, I mean, as a Christian, I get my answer from Christ. I can answer that, but you're asking me about the problem with theodicy. That takes more than 5 minutes to answer. So I've done sessions on this, but to go back to the first question, then related to your question, this is why all the more you should follow Jesus Christ, not any other God, especially Allah. Jesus Christ is the one who convinces me that not only God, but the God of the Bible exists, because when Jesus walked this earth, even as, let's say you are just an historian, forget that you're a Christian, you believe in the Bible. You can be in Bart Ehrman. The Bart Ehrman lost his faith because of the problem of evil, what you're talking about. People think he lost his faith in God because of liberal criticism of the New Testament. No, he became a liberal Protestant. He lost his faith in God because of suffering. But I think that eventually, the more he reasons, the more he'll find his way back to Christ. But coming back to you, you can ask an historian about the historical Jesus, unless you're one of these extreme fanatics that's a Jesus mythicist. They'll say, yes, we know that Jesus Christ walked this earth because we have enough records. We don't believe they're inspired, inerrant. They don't believe any book is inerrant. But these records have been preserved, and we can apply a historical method to determine whether a saying is authentic or not. Now, we have to be careful of that. Just because the historical method says this is authentic, this unlikely, doesn't mean that what they deem to be unlikely didn't happen. What I'm trying to get at is, if you just follow it as an historian, here are the facts you can establish on historical grounds, just on historical grounds. A man named Jesus walked this earth. He claimed divine prerogatives, divine attributes, divine functions. And then people testified that he was a miracle worker, that they saw him do miracles and experience miracles. He was killed. He was buried. On the third day, his tomb was discovered empty by a group of women followers, which is significant because in the first century, the testimony of women was null and void. If you want to convince someone about the veracity, historicity of your report, you don't have women as eyewitnesses because the testimony of women was not even considered. And yet here you have, according to the earliest tradition, it was a group of his women followers that discovered the tomb empty and saw him alive. And then his followers claimed that he appeared to them alive physically and now lives in heaven and were willing to be killed and die for that claim. And that sprung Christianity. There would be no Christianity, no church, without the resurrection of Jesus. So I don't want you to take my word for it. You can go on Bart Ehrman, read his book, Did Jesus Exist? He'll tell you, historically, we know Christ was killed. He doesn't believe the story of the woman discovering the tomb is historical. He believes it's an embellishment. But he will tell you that Jesus's own followers, and he mentions at least two of them, Peter and Mary Magdalene, who had what he calls bereavement visions, where they were convinced they saw Jesus alive physically, and they were convinced he's now alive physically in heaven, and he now reigns as God. This is in his works, in his lectures. Did Jesus exist? Did Jesus really exist? And he had a debate with the mythicists online, and how Jesus became God. And he also admits that Paul, who is an enemy of Christianity, an opponent of Christianity, who persecuted Christians, also had a vision that also convinced him Jesus was raised physically, bodily, and he's alive physically, bodily in heaven, reigning as God. And then he became one of the greatest proponents of the movement and died as a martyr. So if I look at these facts, that means I have an event in history that you cannot explain away. The birth of the church and Christianity, which claim their founder was killed, but he was raised from the dead, never to die again, and he lives physically in heaven as Lord. Now, if you know anything about messianic movements, this is a fact. When a messianic claimant appears and is killed, his movement dies. It disappears. People do not continue to propagate and promote the teaching of a failed Messiah who was killed. So now you're going to have to explain. You, even as a Muslim, have to explain the birth of Christianity. Because the earliest evidence, the oldest evidence from those who claim to know Jesus is that he was killed, he appeared alive physically, he's now alive in heaven, and they went preaching that message even unto death, and hundreds of thousands of Greek pagans and Jews converted to this movement. Now, how do you explain that?
Well, actually, I had so you're not going to answer the second question. I mean, I can address this one. So, I mean, I guess as Muslims, we believe that Allah said that it was appeared. It appeared.
That's
so
not going to help
the
you, know that,
people
right?
Sorry?
That's not going to help you because you're telling me what a Muslim is telling me. The Quran says what you think the Quran says. That's not the meaning.
You're asking me as me being a Muslim.
No, I'm not asking you to answer as a Muslim. I'm saying as someone who's confronted with these facts. How do you deal with these facts?
Well,
that his followers said he was killed and raised, but that means your Quran is a lie because the Quran says his followers were Muslims.
But we're talking about history, right? So
Yes.
we're talking about something that someone wrote. So the problem
Just
with
like you're
that
talking
is,
about the Quran that someone wrote.
yeah, exactly, right. So we're sort of in the same boat here because if we
No,
were
we're
talking,
not.
Well, we are, because we're talking
No, we're
about
not.
something that someone wrote.
Buddy, everything in the past is based on something that someone
No,
wrote.
no, no. I get that. And that's my point. My point is that we are talking about things that people wrote in the past. And we have to, the thing is, we have to look at it in a sense that, look, we weren't there to see anything happen. None of us was, right? At the end of the day, like, you know, I'm 33 years old. You know, you're probably a little bit older. God Logic, I think you're slightly younger. I mean, we're nowhere near. We weren't born at that time. We're trying to seek the truth, right? And whatever the truth is.
You're not seeking the truth.
Sorry?
Straight up, let me correct you in your first lie. No, you're not. Because notice how you dodged the bullet. I said, on historical grounds, if you're going to use historical method, these are facts of history. How did you tap dance like a Muslim? Well, we were not there. We're basing on what someone wrote, but you base your entire faith on what someone wrote that you believe wrote in the 7th century. So you're not seeking truth, you're deceiving yourself.
No, I agree with that. No, I completely agree with you.
Can you adjust these facts?
Well, the thing is, I can't address those facts because you could say that, oh, people at that time believed that Jesus was crucified, whereas I might be able to find evidence that Jesus wasn't crucified.
Okay, give me the evidence.
I can go and find evidence to.
No, you can't. Not in the 1st century. You can't. That's a lie. See, again, you're dodging the bullet. It's a lie. There is no 1st century sources, even admitted by skeptical scholars. So you didn't hear anything I said. It is a lie what you're telling me, and you may be saying it in ignorance. There isn't any 1st century sources that say Christ was not killed by crucifixion. Either you're saying it in ignorance or you're lying to me. The sources you're going to appeal to are Gnostics, which is going to now cause you greater problems because these Gnostic sources start arising in the 2nd, 3rd, 4th centuries, but they denied the crucifixion for a different reason. They believed that Christ was divine, and being Greek philosophers, they thought that matter was evil, and a divine Christ never became flesh. Do you think that's true of the historical Jesus? He wasn't flesh?
Sorry, say that again?
Okay. Let's try this again to see if you're seeking truth. Because no, I'm going to be honest with you. You're lying to me because I want to see how you're going to answer this question. Someone seeking the truth doesn't dodge the bullet. Okay. There are no 1st century sources that say that Jesus was not killed. That's number one. Number two, the sources that you're going to appeal to are Gnostic sources from the 2nd, 3rd, 4th centuries, not 1st century accounts. Even Bart Ehrman, who doesn't believe Matthew wrote Matthew, Mark wrote Mark, Luke wrote Luke, John wrote John. He'll tell you, whoever the writers were, these are 1st century sources. And our earliest source is Mark. And then Paul is earlier. And these are 1st century sources. I'm giving you what you can establish on textual, historical, archaeological grounds. If you were to find someone to me who said Jesus was crucified, you'd be quoting 2nd, 3rd, 4th century sources from Greeks who converted to Christianity, who believed that Christ was divine, meaning God, one of the gods, and as a divine being, he would never become flesh because they believed matter was evil, so that Christ did not have a body that can be killed. So what are you talking about? You cannot meet any source that says Christ was not killed.
Okay, so I mean, I'm not like going against what you're saying. Obviously, I'm going to research into this. Are you saying that is the New Testament, so the first four books, I think, are they the only books that say that Jesus was crucified, or is there anything outside of the Bible?
Okay, number one, you're assuming that the New Testament collection of books was one volume. Do you know these are independent documents that circulated independently? So what you have in New Testament is a collection of books written by different people at different time. It's not one author that wrote these books. So number one, within the New Testament, you have independent sources. That's number one. Number two, we even have sources outside of the New Testament, such as Ignatius, who have 7 letters that are preserved, who was a disciple of the apostles, who was trained by them on his way to being martyred in Rome, a Gentile who converted Christianity, who's now going to be fed to the lions, and he's begging the Christians at Rome, let me be eaten by the beast. I want to die as a sacrifice for Christ. And as an eyewitness to the disciples who taught him, he says, Christ was killed. Christ has been raised. Christ is alive. Christ is God, and he's the Son of God. And that's a source outside of the New Testament. You want me to give you Polycarp? You want me to give you Justin Martyr? How many you want me to give you? Tacitus? you do not have any first century witnesses that deny Christ was killed. So when you come and tell me, well, everything we believe in is based on what someone wrote. Okay, so what are you arguing? We should be agnostic? Then why are you Muslim?
No, so look, if I believe that the Quran's from God and it states that yes, he was appeared to, to be killed in front of people,
And
then
you're misinterpreting the verse. You know that, right?
sorry,
You're even misinterpreting
it
4157.
to the people.
You're misinterpreting 4157 of the Quran. That's not what it says. That's what your interpretation by later tradition says. It did not say he wasn't killed. It says they neither crucified him they neither killed him nor crucified. It appeared unto them. It appeared unto who? The Jews. Do you understand the language of the Quran? What that means?
But so if it appeared to the Jews, if it appeared to the people that were trying to crucify him, then of course, then people would say he was crucified.
Even his own disciples, huh? So we're Muslims according to the Quran?
Sorry?
Even his own disciples who preached that he was killed?
But you don't have collections of what the
Here we go back. See, that's why I say you're a liar and you're not seeking the truth. We do have writings from the contemporaries of the apostles. I just mentioned Ignatius, a disciple of the apostles. That's why I said you're a liar. You're not looking for truth. Stop lying, man. I just told you Ignatius, a disciple of the apostles who was trained by Peter, Paul, and John, who said Christ was killed and raised. Why are you lying to me?
No, I'm not lying. I don't know anything about these sources.
Can you now apologize for saying we don't have sources from the apostles when we have writings from the apostles like Paul and their disciples like Ignatius? I just mentioned them. Okay. So let me ask you the question which you dodged again. Let's see if you're going to play dodgeball again with me. According to chapter 3, verse 52 of the Quran and 5:111, it says that Jesus's followers were Muslims, but those Muslims taught Jesus was killed. So who made it look to them that Jesus was killed?
Who made it look to them that
because
Jesus
that's what you're quoting, 4157. You don't even know what you're quoting to me.
Yeah.
It says it was made to appear to them, which it doesn't mean what you think, but I'm going with your interpretation. Let's go with your interpretation. It was made to appear as if Jesus was killed. But the ones who preach he was killed are the disciples. So who made that appear to them, who are Muslims, that Jesus was killed and raised?
I'll need to check to see whether the disciples did preach that he was killed.
Okay, good night, brother. God bless you. Thank you for your time. We'll talk to you again. Take care. Okay. Bye-bye. There you go.
All right. Well, with that being said, we are at the 3-hour mark. Man, good work, huh?
Well, thank you, brother. And brother, I mean it. Guys, I mean this from my heart. I pray in Jesus' name I finish the race with integrity. I glorify Christ and he forgive me for my failures. And I finish with integrity. And I pray God bless this man. I pray God bless Adam Seeker. I pray God bless Chris Claus. There's so many of you. If I don't name you, don't think it's... I pray God bless the Syrian guy, Albie, which, by the way, I'll be doing a stream with him. I'm blocked from YouTube. I'm on Rumble for now for 2 weeks. Lord will, I'll be back on YouTube. So if you want to find me live later with Albie on TikTok, airing it from my Rumble page, Facebook, check me out. I pray God will use Albie. I said Adam Seeker, Jay, all of you, and make you lions filled with spirit and provide all your finances, because I'm proud of you guys. You're the next generation. You're better than us. May we decrease and Jesus increase. And I really want you to keep doing it till you die or until the Lord returns, brother. You're a lion.
Man, yeah. Thank you so much for coming through. Guys, we will be back here tomorrow, 5 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Rocking out, man. Me and Sam together.
Before you hang up, they want my Rumble page. Someone just asked for it. Here it goes. Sorry.
Yeah, they're putting it all in the chat too, like the.
Oh, they did? Okay, you guys put it in the.
Yeah, do it again if you need to.
Oh, you got it. Okay, they got it right there. I'll be back in a few hours, but love you. So tomorrow, was Muhammad certain of his salvation?
All right, perfect. All right, we got. Just hold on, just a couple questions from the super chats that I wanted to get to. So we have Aman. Yep. It's the same one.
How many times have you answered? How many times I've answered it?
Probably 1,000 times, man.
Now, is he a Christian brother?
I'm not sure, but I mean, he gave a super chat, so I'm assuming so. Yeah.
Well, do you want to answer it, or do you want me to give you, because I don't know how you answer it. I don't want to go against what you said.
Well, no, go. I've leaned towards more that this is textual variant. That's
yes, exactly.
Yeah.
The fact is, guys, these have been addressed 5 million times. In fact, on my blog, I uploaded a work that Jay Smith and company did where they answered supposedly 101 contradictions of the Bible that was produced by Shabir Ali. Everything is hand copied. Okay, let me real quickly, because I know this brother has got to go. So real quickly, everything is hand copied prior to the printing press. People copy by hands. Now, if you don't know this about Hebrew, biblical Hebrew does not have numbers. I don't know if you know this. Biblical Hebrew, numbers are represented by the letters of the alphabet. So Aleph is 1, right? So there's 22 Hebrew letters. Tav or Tau, because today they say Tav, that would be number 22. When you are copying without spell checker, without electricity, using pen and paper, and very poor conditions, you can misread a letter for another number. So you may look at a copy, it may even have a smudge, or you may not see it clearly, and it looks like a 22 or looks like a 42, but because you think you're seeing the right number, you copy it in your manuscript. So this is how we know that these are what we call transcriptional errors, but we have enough copies to tell us what the age is. It's 22.
Exactly.
So secondly, this is action argument for the preservation of the Bible. How? Think about it. If the scribes are corrupting the Bible, and then you have scribes who notice these discrepancies, and they did, then it would be easy for them to change the discrepancies instead of leaving these discrepancies intact and weaponizing you enemies of the gospel to try to attack the authenticity of the scriptures. It actually backfires. It shows you they did their best to preserve what they believed was there before them, and they trusted what was before them was an accurate copy of the original. Anyway.
Right. Amen. So I hope that answers you guys' question. I might actually or you guys can go ahead and clip this section out and just push it and make it go viral whenever they're asking about Ahaziah's age, because Uthman is going to keep using it no matter how many times we answer it. And so you guys are going to keep getting these questions because all Muslims do is parrot and repeat. So you guys could just copy this video, paste it, post it on your channels, do whatever you want with it. All right.
We should turn the tables. One day do the irrefutable, irreconcilable contradictions of the Quran to bury it, their argument.
Yeah, that'd be dope. Yeah, exactly. All right, guys. Spam says, God bless you guys. God bless you too. Thank you guys for showing up. If you haven't done it already, make sure you hit the like button. Sam said he's going to be live in a few hours on Rumble. So the moderator.
I'll be on his TikTok. So.
Oh, and you'll be on Albie's TikTok tonight.
Yeah, that's right.
Okay, cool. So he'll be on TikTok live tonight, on Albie's live, and he'll be on Rumble as well. So make sure you guys tune in to that. We will be back here tomorrow, running it back again, and then, Lord willing, the day after that. So keep us in your prayers. Keep us, pray for our health, pray for our humility, pray for our obedience, pray for our diligence. All right? And may we be strong in the Lord to continue to be used as mouthpieces. By the way, guys, yesterday, a Muslim came to Christ. I spoke with him a day before. His name's Nathan, and he actually... The very next day, he came up back on the live and just said, you know what, I see that Islam is false, and I gave my life to the Lord last night, and Amen. This is the truth. So,
brother, he just reached out to me on Skype.
Oh, he did?
Yeah, so I guess he has some questions. So glory to God. I didn't know, because he told me he asked questions, but it's not a debate. I didn't know he is. So thank you for mentioning it.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same Nathan. That's not
okay,
the same.
Sure.
That dude was a little different, but yeah, because that Nathan dude said he's still so that's a different guy.
Okay.
Yeah, but the guy I'm talking about is completely different. He's full on Christian now. So all glory to God. But yeah, all right, guys. You guys take care. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for the super chat. Sorry for the ones that I didn't get to see all of it. And here we go. We got Trish says, Avery, you never told me if they do the Muslim shuffle to Allah gave you faith. Oh, yes, they do. All right, guys. Peace and blessings be upon you all.